Hello and welcome to our show, Film Talk with AJ Dean. I'm AJ Dean, your host, and look out, Las Vegas and the world. I have one of my most favorite people here, Stevie Dunham from Las Vegas. He's a singer-songwriter, founder of Street Corner Entertainment record label, and he's so much more. He's so talented, so creative. One of my great friends that I'm proud and honored to have our friendship. Let's give him a super warm welcome. Hey, Stevie, how you doing?
Good morning, AJ. Thank you for having me on your show. It's awesome. You're an awesome person, and I'm glad that we're friends. And I'm honored to be on your show again. It really is awesome. I have no words to express other than it makes me very happy. You know, we work in a creative business, and that's what we do is to make people happy. And that's important to me. It's important to you and everybody else out there that does it. So it's just great, to be a part of something really special. It really
It
is.
is. I love what you said, Stevie. You're so right. It's about helping people, and you have an excellent heart. I know you're a family man. You have a beautiful wife and a beautiful family. But your heart is, and their heart too, is all in the right place all the time. And you're always thinking for people and trying to help them. And I love that. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
do my best. And that's all anybody would expect anybody to do is their best. Nobody's perfect. We're all human, but we give it our best shot to ensure that we do what we can for others.
Definitely. And that's what it's all about, Stevie. So I love that. And I'm so glad you've returned. You're one of our reunion guests and I respect and admire you so much. And I'm so proud of all the things that you have done. So let's get into it, Stevie. I have a couple questions here. Your
Sure.
journey began collecting vintage vocal group records.
Did. Yeah,
And
that was the one thing that started it off. Yes.
yes, and so can you take us back to that moment in time in your life?
Yeah, I can. I was 14 years old. It goes back a little farther than that. When I was 10 and 11, I sang in the late 70s. I sang in a street corner group in New York, in Brooklyn, and they were called Donnie and the Street Nuts. Basically, my era, that was the last real street corner singing era before breakdancing and rap music came into vogue. So I'm one of the last of that type of counterculture, and I'm really proud of it. We never had any recordings, but we had a lot of fun. We did everything from Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers to the Stylistics to the Jackson Five. We were really just whatever music we grew up with, we were singing on the street corner. It was just really a great experience and a lot of fun. I met my first mentor on the street, literally, Eugene Pitt of the Jive Five, who had 7 gold records with that group. And then later on in the mid 80s, did all the Nickelodeon bumper jingles for the TV network. So he was my first. Later on, as a young adult, Frank Alvino from the Five Boroughs was a second mentor, and I sang in that group. And that opened the doors for me from all the other stuff I did up to that point, where I worked with a lot of legends for a long time on stage. It was great. But yes, record collecting started all officially at 14 years of age. I had no idea what I was going to do when I graduated from high school. It was right in front of my face. I evolved from a record collector of vocal group recordings to record dealer of all kinds of different genres to, in 1988, forming my first record label, Crescent, in the Emerald Town subsidiary. I was 20 years old. I read every book on the industry I could get my hands on to educate myself in this endeavor. And I was the youngest producer of oldies and doo-wop music in the United States at 20 years old at that time period. And I received instant notoriety in that genre market, the oldies market. I'm the only second generation oldies record market guy in rock and roll and pop culture history. I've had a few firsts, and I'm very proud of everything. And the evolution just that came about, on the journey from the East Coast to Las Vegas. In 2003, I formed Street Corner Entertainment Records. This month, on the 24th, will be I believe, the 23rd year, I believe.
Wow,
It's
congratulations.
been a lot of work. It's been a great journey and very full, rewarding. And there's more coming. And we have 43 acts currently on the label.
Wow. Wow. We're going to get into those acts and those artists. We want to talk about those as well. I did want to say how incredible your story is. Singing on the street corners, that's a sense of community, isn't it?
It is. It's a, and we were basically an interracial type vocal group. I mean, there was two Italian kids, myself, and two Puerto Rican guys. And we were all neighborhood guys. We were friends, close friends. It was just great, and it was very fulfilling. In past the time, it was creative. We were not doing anything deviant in the streets or anything, any crime or anything like that. But it was just it was just part of the counterculture, really. So I mean, I really embraced it, and we didn't know anything different. We thought everybody did.
Yes, I love this so much, Stevie. And you're a legend, and like you said, you work with some legends.
I
So
worked a
when
lot.
when you listened to those records at 14, what spoke to you so deeply that you knew, what was it about the music?
The vocal group harmony was gravitating towards me at a young age, and then to try it out in the street too, and was even more solidifying and gratifying. And it's my Achilles heel, basically. I mean, I liked all kinds of music of every genre, but there's nothing more uh, succinct for me and satisfying than the sound of the human voice singing in harmony together. And that's magical. It's also just very fulfilling for the soul, you know, and it's creative. And, even going back into history into the 50s where groups were doing the same thing on the street corners, some of the most romantic and best music was ever created right from the streets from teenagers. And we weren't really doing anything different. I mean, we were a little innovative because we didn't really do, stock arrangements like from the records because we were young kids. We didn't have any money. We just listened to what we thought sounded good, and we went out and tried it out on the street. So we had interpretations. It was slightly different. The melodies were pretty close. And that's the innovativeness and spontaneity about stuff like that, and the creativity factor.
Stevie, you've worked with some legends, and you're a legend yourself. And I wanted to ask you, what artists do you represent with?
Off the, off the top of my head,
Yeah,
number one and most important, Little Anthony of the Imperials, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer and legendary pop and R&B singer, Little. That was a gift. That's a great story. I can make it brief. I was called by my dear longtime record producer friend and singer Mike Miller from Florida. He says, "Would you like to do Little Anthony? This is in 2023." I said, "Yeah, sure," nonchalantly. Because, didn't really think about it. About 6 weeks later, I'm in a social place, playing video poker, and there's a review thinking about all the parameters around where it told me now I got Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, legend, major hit records. People made babies to these records he recorded. And I'm like, wow, that's when it really hit me across the top of my head. I got blessed. And it took us about 7 months to get this anthology album, which is right here. This is Little Anthony's album. You don't see it very well. There it is. It's Little Anthony, brand new recordings that were on there from 2023, including Grammy nominated song New York City, which was my first nomination in the 38 years now that I'm approaching in this business. Never thought in the music did that. It was Anthony's first and Mike's first nomination. We're all proud of the hard work. 20 hours a day of doing editing, mixing, remastering and stuff. Just incredible project. Very proud. So he's number one. I have several oldies acts on the label, various types. Dana Day's one of them here from Las Vegas. She's one of 7 people on locally in Las Vegas on the label. Sonny Santino is brand new. He's incredible talent. He's opened up for major people across the world, and excited about his projects coming up. And I've had several vocal group recording CD projects, including my own. I've done 2 CDs on the way. And I'm working on my own anthology CD. I have a plethora of recordings of this. So
Excellent, excellent, Stevie. And can people purchase your CD? Tell us where they can get your CD and buy it.
it's streetcornerentertainment.com. We have all of our products up there on our website. And one of the news flashes, speaking of that, we're going to be moving that website to the Facebook Meta Business Suite, the business page, that website page that Facebook offers. The traffic will be better and people can become members for free and join that, the file list. So that'll be a lot easier for social media people. Because websites sometimes aren't as relevant as they once were. So we'll get better traffic in those.
Street Corner Harmony, Stevie, and doo-wop carry a very specific cultural and emotional resonance. And we talked a little bit about that before. Why do you think it's still so popular? Why do you think it touches people so profoundly, even generations later?
Well, it's because it's innocent and pure music. It's lyrics that you can actually understand, melodies and harmonies that gravitate to you melodically. It's feel-good music. It's innocent. It's not deviant or derogatory. It's in the counterculture that surrounds it, epitomize that as well. It's a neighborhood thing. It's a neighborhood music. There's more to it than just the records and the singing and the songs and so forth. It's a counterculture of the neighborhood. It's part of urban neighborhoods across big cities in this country, and that's really important.
Yes, it is.
It's not really a dying art as much as it is, as some people say it is. Um, Everything resurges, everything recircles itself in time through history, and it's on a resurgence right now as well. It does it every 5 or 6 years or so. And it's coming on that resurgence again. The Chicano oldies market of East LA is actually doing a big contribution to saving the oldies record market in general in this country and around the world. So we're very happy about that.
That's so good to hear. I love that. And yes, new generations are hearing it for the first time. And as you said, the harmonies, there's a deep, profound connection when people hear harmonies, and it goes way back to the caveman, doesn't it, Stevie? With
Kind of, yeah, or back to the African native tribal music that folk music they created, because doo-wop music was created by African Americans in Harlem, New York in the early 50s. Back in the 50s and 60s, we didn't call it that, we didn't have a name for it. It was just vocal group harmony or R&B harmony or street song harmony. We didn't have that word. That's a 70s counterculture word. However, arguably and debatedly so, that word was starting to peek through in the early to mid 60s, but it was never used. And I worked with many R&B legends of that from the 50s and 60s. No one ever used the word doo-wop when describing going out in the street to sing. They'd be like going out to the streets to hit a few notes to sing harmony or something of that nature. It comes from jazz and gospel and blues roots as well. So these are the culmination of different genre styles that really personify the creation and conception of this music.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for explaining that. And there's such history to harmonizing, vocal harmonizing. And Stevie, you've been a singer, songwriter, producer, author, DJ, and record label owner, as you are now. Which
I'm
of
like a Renaissance guy.
you are, you really are. So Stevie, which of these roles has challenged you the most creatively? And what's brought the greatest joy?
I think what's brought for both is just being able to take the knowledge that I was mentored and my formal education in conjunction with that, based on the direct mentors I had in my career in life coming up. as well as my utility influences and mentors, have really developed me in order to pass that knowledge on to other people, the younger people too, or people in my age group too, or and older that, which I do all, and it's unselfish and they need to know this information. I mean, especially music business predicate. And that is just important. It's not about getting behind a mic and singing all the time. There's a lot of things you need to know. So I do help and educate, especially on our label and our partners. Our job is to make sure everybody's got music business savvy to some degree, even if it's the basics, in order to help them so they don't have any issues that are negative, because as you know, in the entertainment industry, it doesn't matter which facet we're in, it's dirty and there's always some deviance there. And so we try to keep our protocol and our rules in check, and we put legitimacy factors into our record label, and we run it as a business co-op. So we all earn and grow together as a family, and people that show skills as artists, as performing artists that might show some business acumen, they have the opportunity to go into that direction with us. And that's very important to me. It's important to my partners. There's three other partners, two on the East Coast, one here in Vegas with me. And it's just incredible. I mean, we have a network, and currently in the oldies genre portion of our label, we control 60% of the oldies market.
Wow.
That took a lot of work. An opportunity presented itself for the runway to be clear for takeoff. I mean, I'm like I told you earlier, I'm the only second generation oldies record market person in history. And so
Man.
I worked with a lot of those guys that were the first generation people. And there's about 12 of us left overall. And so
Wow.
I'm the youngest. And it's like being a survivor in one way, but being an innovator in another way that's more positive.
Yes, and you're lifting it up and holding it, continuing it forward, Stevie.
Mhm.
I'm so proud of you. I
Thank
just
you.
this wasn't a question in our notes, but I just wanted to ask you, does your son have any aspirations to, carry on what you're doing? Is he interested in singing or songwriting?
Well, he has a creative acumen. He's a photographer. And so he does that. He was one of the top photographers at one time in Las Vegas, and he's very talented with that. He's photographed several major people that were headliners from all over in rock and roll that had played in Vegas. And he was a personal photographer for quite a few people, bands and so forth. So he does have somewhat of a name, and we're trying to get him re-institutionalized to do this again. He had a little hiccup for a little while, but because of my reputation in Las Vegas and influence, I can put him back into right up on the top again. So I'm really,
Fabulous.
but he's got to want to do that too. Like, you got
Yeah.
to put in the same hard work as I do.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And he can do it, and it's very
Oh,
exciting.
again, I
Yeah.
agree. He
And
will.
it's very exciting too. And there's incredible rewards when you have an entertainment or artistic
Absolutely.
career, because you get to meet some wonderful people, like you, Stevie. So yeah, there's so many wonderful benefits to giving back. Go ahead.
Well, here's a great example of this, and I was told this the other day, and her name is, she's a friend, and she was a creator of many popular TV shows in the 70s. Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley, well, two of them. Love Boat was one. Her name was Paula. She told me we were at an event, an award event for a mutual friend, getting an award for the adult education program from UNLV, the OLLI program. So I attended it because I speak at those classes once in a while. And so it was an honor for me to be there to support my friend. And I saw her there, and she told me, she whispers up in my ear, she goes, Stevie, your name is all over town.
Yeah, great.
And I do that, but I don't, I take it for what it is. That's called
Yeah, me too.
earning it by merit and hard work, you know?
That's right.
I've been
That's right.
told by others too. Bill Medley of the Righteous Brothers had told me a couple of years ago after Anthony's CD came out. He says, "Congratulations, we won Anthony's CD and your Grammy nomination." And I said, "Bill, how do you know this?" He goes, "Everybody knows." I go, "What do you mean? You mean everybody in the oldies market?" He goes, "No, everybody in the entire record industry." He goes, "Kid, I should know because I'm well plugged in." And that's one rock and roll Hall of Famer telling me about another rock and roll Hall of
That's
Famer. That blew
amazing.
my mind. Well,
Yeah.
Bill and Bucky are very close friends of mine anyway, and I love them dearly. And that's another cool thing about this business, as you know, when you're involved and immersed in it, it doesn't matter if it's music or film, you meet people and people gravitate towards you if they know that you're honest and true with your intentions.
Right.
And they can feel that aura, it precedes you, you know? You
Yes.
walk into a room with that and people will gravitate towards you. You don't wear a sign on your head saying, "I'm here." You go in nonchalant and relaxed and like just a regular person. It happens. It's because that's respect and you've earned it. And you don't have to let it go to your head, and I practice humble all the time. Egotism and arrogance have no place in our company or in my life at
That's
all.
wonderful. Same here.
Yeah, you
Same
get
here.
far, and I know this. That's why we gravitate towards each other in particular, and we're friends because we share that, and
Yes.
it's very important. And you have a great reputation.
Oh, thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you. And so do you, Stevie. And I'm so thankful and grateful we're friends. And I just love your mission and your company and everything that you do.
It's
Um,
hard work. It's
it's,
all hard work, as you know.
yeah, it
It's
is.
a work in progress too. You don't stop because you got somebody important or you got awards and nominations and accolades under your belt. You can't skate. You have to keep striving to go farther, work harder, and go up the ladder even farther. It's a work in
Absolutely.
progress. And people forget that. It starts somewhere. There is a stepping stone at one starting point. Never forget where you're from and just stay humble. And that's good advice for anybody trying to break into this business in any degree, in any facet, because you'll get farther being normal and honest and humble than you will any other way.
Oh, I love that so much. In fact, you answered my question because I was going
Oh,
to
I did? Oh, that's cool.
ask. You're
You
so
can
good.
ask it anyway, but but that's the way we operate. That's our mantra. Our
So now,
mantra is honor, loyalty, and respect for our business. And
yeah.
that and we live up to those three words in the world all the time.
Amazing, amazing. And yeah, you and I have simpatico,
Right?
being good friends and we understand each other. I love that.
Mhm.
Um, over the course of your 30-year career, Stevie, is there a particular moment on stage or in the studio as an artist that reminded why you chose this path?
Um, there's a couple. Um, Actually, my very first rock and roll show, I was barely 22 years old. And the Clark Tones, Donna and Juan, Joey Villa of the Three Friends and the Royal Teams of Short Shorts thing was on there, and some other artists. And I was the opening act with the Five Boroughs. They backed up all the single artists, including myself. And I was told by my second mentor, Frank Iovino, he says to me, he says, "You want to do a rock and roll show?" He says, "Yeah." That's all he said. Just come prepared to sing. Didn't tell me anything else. The theater was in Florida at Miami Shores, 2,000-seat theater. It's all black. When I come up on stage after being introduced, I'm scared to no end. It's my first time in front of that many people. I'm living my dream, right? And I'm scared. And it's natural to be nervous and scared. Anybody who says they're not, even seasoned pros, but it's exhilarating, but we all get nervous, right? I couldn't see anybody in the audience. It was pitch black. These guys are all older. I'm young, and these guys are all in their mid-40s, and they're my father's age. They're all breaking my chops on stage, teasing me. And that's all good because that's what they do because they're all New Yorkers. And that's typical to do that in the neighborhoods growing up. Well, they're doing it live on stage, and then the audience started to chime in and do the same thing. And then Frank looks at me and says, "Stevie, you want to sing now?" And I go, "Yes, please." And I get a laugh out of everybody. And I sang this song by the students called I'm Still Young, which was a major hit in the late 50s. And I took my bow when I was finished, and I basically ran off stage right. It was exhilarating, but I did it, and I did it great, not knowing that when I had my girlfriend at the time recording, they were yelling for more, and they gave me a standing ovation, I was told. And 2 weeks later, I go over to Frank Iovino's house after he calls me. We live close to each other in Florida. He says to me, "Kid, what'd you learn?" I says, "Come with some type of stage banter, jokes, remarks, whatever, interact." Because they didn't tell me this. He said, "I did that on purpose because you were initiated right on the spot. You broke your cherry. Congratulations, you're in the club." Just like that. That's how he did it. He did it on purpose. They all figured it out like that. And I never forget it. And quite frankly, to this day, no matter what venue, it is small or large, I never come ill prepared with something. I warm up the audience. I feel the room out. So I can sense, and I have a strong sixth sense, to know the climate of the room. So I know what to say to open it up to make people feel comfortable and happy and relaxed. And then you segue yourself into a song.
Yeah,
Even if
that's
I'm the MC introducing somebody else, it's the same difference. You got to warm them up. You got to make them feel like they're in your house at a party in your living room and you're the host. That's what you're supposed to do. That's so important. And I
yeah,
learned that the hard way, right on the fly, literally. I'll
incredible.
never forget.
That was on the spot learning, wasn't it,
Mhm.
Stevie? That was in,
Another, yes, and it was just like an incredible thing. I turned a potential negative into a positive, you know. And that's what you're supposed to do. I think the other moment I was in the recording studio recording some background harmonies for another artist record project locally here. I swore and felt the presence of my deceased first mentor pass through me. It was just because I was struggling with a part, and I felt his presence, and he passed through me. It was the most weird, surreal thing. And then all was great afterwards, and I was able to do all the prep work and record all the background harmonies for our artist Ramon Altamirano's music release. And I never experienced that before in my life. And people can say what they want about that type of phenomenon, but I do have one. I do have one more that I did. It was in 2007. I just remembered. My group, the Emerald Dreams, was on a major rock and roll weekend convention show in Las Vegas at Alexis Park called the Cool Bobby B Doo-Wop Convention. Our song "Window of Time" was getting heavy airplay on Cool Bobby B's show. It went viral. It became it got played it got 1.1 million airplays. It almost became a chart record. It did everything naturally, what we call a sleeper. That's what a natural hit is. It didn't break the national charts in any way, but it came close. Um, so we're performing this song. We performed for 2 nights. We performed this song on the second night in concert. There was a dance party posted. We get to the song, and there was a dead silence for 5 seconds. I thought we bombed. And then, like in church, 2,000 people stood up and gave us a standing ovation. And right after we were right after us was the Capri's There's a Moon Out Tonight thing. The second tenor and founder of the group, Frank Rayner, is standing on the stairs. You can't see him, but he's on the exit and entrance steps from the stage. He grabs me as we walk off and says, "Stephen, that was the most incredible performance I ever saw in my life. And kid, I've been through a lot. I've been with all the legends as you have." He says, "That was incredible. Never seen anything like that in my life."
how
This is coming from a guy that sings my favorite song, "There's a Moon Out Tonight," which is my all-time favorite song out of every musical genre in the world. That was more important to me than awards, money, prestige, anything, because that meant more to me. That was probably out of the other two, the greatest moment I experienced in my career.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is
Frank still sings with his Caprice today. He's the last surviving member, but he's got a group together and he's 85 years old and they still tour back east and they still do. They had new members that sing the songs. Their lead singer died in 2007. I did the last show with Nick Santa Maria of the Caprice. And
wow.
we all knew he was gone. He had lung cancer from mesothelioma from working as a kid in the Navy Yards in Brooklyn. So he had asbestos poisoning,
Oh,
which that's
so
caused.
sorry. So sorry about
But he
that.
was a great guy too. So he was a champ and he did it. I don't know where he got the energy, but God bless him. It just was amazing.
Stevie, what still excites you about the future of vocal harmony? Where does it go from here? What do you see the next trends coming up and the legacy for street corner entertainment?
Well, I mean, we'll continue since we put out gospel, country, modern R&B and pop and Latin music and Latin soul. And we still have our oldies line genre that we developed still. We look all over the United States for talent that love this music in particular, this particular genre, and we developed them. So, and they're younger people, which is really great because back in the late 50s to the 60s, when the oldies market was conceived, they didn't pass this music on to the younger generation. They didn't think they're gonna like it and they wanted to be a part of it. They were wrong with that assumption. And it was a cancer that festered all the way to the present. And now we're seeing resurgence because of what I mentioned before. The Chicano oldies market has really been spearheading this resurgence more so than the New York consortium is than anywhere else. But there are youngsters that they're in their 20s, sometimes in their 30s, I guess, that really appreciate this. They're old souls in their youth that love this music. They don't have to be in a group. We can do that for them. We can put those type of arrangements together around a solo artist, and we have. Or we will find a group too, which I'm looking at from Minnesota, a young bunch of college kids in their mid-20s that are very good. And I've already made an inquiry, and I know one very well. He's a collector, and it's up to him and to make that decision to cross over.
So
But
is that so
I
I'm sorry.
told him, I said, you have an open invitation to come with us anytime you want.
Oh, that's great, Stevie. And so what do you look for? Speaking of the youth and the next generation, do you look for collectors, do they have to go through a vocal test? What do you look for the next generation?
Well, they have to audition or they have some demos or some YouTube videos or Instagram or whatever that they have that attract us that takes up our interest. And then we interview them. We see if they possess the criteria and qualifications that we have set for our rules. And if they're humble, then yes, we will take a chance on them. If they possess anything other than that, then we will pass on them. I don't care how good they are. And we all are in agreement with this. Because we've already learned our lesson in the past where the true colors will come out with at least three individual artists that were also that we worked with and had contracts with and actually put out material with two of them, working on a third, and he didn't even get his product out because of his arrogance. And matter of fact, that individual that we're renaming was they slandered me on social media, so that was an immediate excusable. Didn't even hesitate.
Oh, that's terrible.
Well, you know the old saying, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. And that's exactly that. This is the record business. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not a microwave oven in production work. It can take 1 to 3 years, sometimes longer to get an album. Realistic, unless it's really an important thing by a high profile client like Little Anthony was. I mean, we got his album set out in 7 months. It should have taken minimum a year and a half, but we were working 20 hours a day on this. So that was an exception. Otherwise, it would have been at least a year or longer. but
Incredible, incredible. Thank you for that, Stevie. And you mentioned previously about Dana Day. We love Dana. I've had her on
yes,
my show. She's fabulous, isn't she?
she's
And
awesome. She's just an incredible human being. Here's
yes,
her album right here. And it's called Dana Day Presents the Legendary Female Vocalist's Greatest Hits. There's a montage of a variety of different recording artists she covered, and just an incredible talent and down to earth, humble person. And she's doing very well here in Las Vegas.
I'm so happy to hear that. I just much success to her. She is a sweetheart
She
and a
is.
gem. And so, Stevie, if are you still singing? Can people see you perform, or are you doing
I
more?
do I do it once in a while. My role is more in the production capacity in operating the record label. And I do once in a while go out and do a cameo here and there. I couldn't give you a particular date when I would, because I don't have any right now, but I do that when duty calls.
Have you ever been to, because I'm sure you have, the Italian American Club? Would you?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been going there for years, even before I moved here. So
I
yes,
love that place.
I do too. I'm gonna be there this coming Friday. Friends of mine from Brooklyn that want the husband, he's a dear friend. He's on my record label, Gil Torres. He sang in a legendary a cappella group in Brooklyn, New York called the Larkings. And now he's with a Moonglow's tribute group called Blue Velvet. He just re-recorded all the leads and remixed all 15 tracks. And he's got a Latin soul CD coming out too by himself. He's an
Very
incredible
nice.
talent. He spent 5 years as the Persuasions lead singer, which was incredible in itself. Um, and he's just a superb talent. He's a great all-around person. And I had actually mentored him in audio production so he could do and take the reins to produce and post produce all of his recordings, which he's doing very well. His mixes are superb, and I'm very happy about
That
it.
is
We've been
great.
longtime friends from going on nearly 40 years. So
That's wonderful. Okay, so coming up this Friday, is that right?
yeah, he surprised me. He sent me some mixes, called me that night. He says, he says, I know I've been missing in action. I'm not dead. He says, but I've been working on everything. And I said, I'd let you go and do what you got to do. I'm not worried about it. And
Yeah.
then he says to me, I'll see you next Friday. I go, what are you talking about? He says, we're coming out. Surprise. I said, what? I said, that's great. Made my whole week. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Are you kidding me?
You're
So we're
gonna
going to the Italian American Club to eat and watch a show. That's going to be so awesome. I'm
so
really,
much fun. I love
yeah,
that place. This is my favorite place
it's a
in
historic place.
Las
Yes.
Vegas. Yes. And I do want to mention we're going to have to start wrapping the show up soon, but I have
Sure.
a couple more questions. I do want to mention your beautiful wife, Diana, and she bought this. Can you tell us about the hat you're wearing and the jacket? Because it's fabulous.
The hat this is actually from Sicily. It's called a Coppola hat. They wore them in the Godfather movie when Michael went in exile to Sicily. So this is a very popular hat that they have in Sicily. And she bought me a gray one and a black one. And I love hats. I have a hat collection. I have fedoras, pork pie hats, beanie hats. This would be considered a beanie hat. But this is very special. They don't sell them in this country. They sell similar like ones, but
Hmm.
I like this. And so I was really happy about it. And my wife told me one day, you're gonna laugh at this. She says, when you're at home, you're not famous. And I said to myself, and I said to her, I said, I didn't think I was, but then she says you spent too much time in the computer. I said, well, let me explain myself. I says, because you think I don't do anything on a computer, which I do a lot of work on it. I said, I got a Grammy nomination. I got a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame client. And
Wow.
then she was quiet afterwards. But then when she was out alone, it's funny. She'll talk praises about her husband, meaning me. But I don't hear about it unless somebody that she was with that talking about it. I didn't know you did any of this stuff. Or some people do, a lot of people do, but I'm like, wow, she's talking about me. It makes me feel good. God bless her. She's
Yeah.
tough to singing girl, but she means well. She's got
She is lovely, and you are such a cute couple
a
and a wonderful family. Tell us about your jacket. You've got your logo on there, right,
Yeah,
Stevie?
I bought a nice sports, athletic coat and I put my logo, Street Corner Entertainment on here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I got one on the back too. And
Beautiful.
it's just part of the branding is all. It's not to, be arrogant or anything. I mean, everybody has some, you put your logo and your brand on stuff to go out, you're proud.
Absolutely. It's advertising. It's free
Absolutely.
advertising, and it's also conversation piece. People can, they talk about it, they ask you questions about it, and it looks
Yeah.
great too. Great colors, great design.
I have one in gray and black, and my partner's got jackets as well. So I made
Very
sure.
nice.
So
Very, very
all
stylish.
to represent our company.
Yes, you always represent so nicely.
Thank
Stevie, are there any acknowledgments, thank yous, or anything else you'd like to mention or promote?
Well, I have Sonny Santino on the label. We're working on some stuff. It's hopefully to be released in October. Zonia De La Guardia, we have been going through all of her recordings. We're going to record 5 more new ones and include some of her previous recordings on her CD project locally. Got another guy, Dave McGowan, locally, that he's an older guy, great songwriter. I have a songwriter in Tennessee who does country and gospel music. His name is Mark Rubb. Sonny's going to record 3 of his songs. We're going to rearrange them to more of a pop-oriented genre. But they're very solid. I'm very blessed, and I thank God every day for being in this life, on this earth, and in this business.
Me
Without
too.
Him, we don't exist at all. So it's because of God's will. It basically is why we do what we do, to share our talents and our experiences and business acumen to others to help them. And I'm always open to help people like that.
I love that. I love that so much. That is so beautiful. And we also love your cat too. I see the
No,
photo.
I get 2 of them. One's fat and one's a runt.
I think my favorite is the black and white one.
Well, they're both the same color, really. One's just bigger than the other one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they both have great personalities individually. One lets me know when it's time to eat every time feeding time comes because she comes up to my desk and paws my leg and sinks her claws into my leg.
Oh,
But she's a cute cat. They're both good kitties. They really are.
they're very pretty.
And they're
And
both rescues too, by the way.
oh, they are.
Yeah,
Oh,
one's a feral cat. Cosmo, the older one, which he's the runt. He's a feral, and then the other one was a stray. Lily was a stray cat.
wow. That's so incredible that you did that. Thank you.
I love cats. I love animals anyway. So I mean, I
Are
don't
they?
like people abusing animals.
Oh
I
my.
don't like to be locked up in places where they're going to be euthanized either. If I could take more in, I would, but unfortunately, I cannot. I have a big advocate for animals and
You do
spirits,
very well,
especially.
Stevie. You do
Yeah.
so great. Thank you. And this is our signature on every episode. I always ask, what is your heart message for the world, Stevie? This is so important.
Just be true to others as you would be to yourself. You set an example for others to follow. Be honest and sincere with them and help as many people as you can in this world, as much as you can. Sometimes you can't help them all, but if you can help just one, it matters. It really does. I mean,
Yes.
for example, I help an elderly guy. I'm his caretaker and been doing it for nearly 5 years. And like I said, if you help just one person, um, that means a lot. It speaks volumes.
Yes, Stevie, that good energy that we put out, it comes back to us, doesn't it?
We have to pay it forward and pay it back for what we have received. And it's very important.
Yes, I fully agree 100%. I love that. Well, Stevie, I've enjoyed our time today. Thank you
Me
for your
too. Thank you.
presence. Anything else you want to mention before we close the show?
I just want to say that anybody out there that appreciates good music of any genre and the creative side of it, if you're an artist or just a fan or a lover of this music and want to collect it, you can go to streetcornerentertainment.com and look at our product line, read our artist profiles and so forth. It's a progressive website, so it's constantly changing and adding, stuff to it and content. And also turn into AJ's show all the time because she is an advocate for everyone in this business of a variety of different aspects. And and you're just great. You're just one of the good people, one of the good ones in the world. You really are.
Oh, thank you, Stevie. And yes, follow Stevie Dunham on Facebook and also look up the Street Corner Entertainment record label group online and follow and support them and check them out. All the fun videos and the great songs and the artists that Stevie represents. And it's a wonderful and new website coming up soon.
Yeah, it is. There's a new website. And just remember this, everybody. You got to have fun what you're doing in this line of work. Don't forget that. That's how it started, having fun. And then you just evolve. And it's hard, but if you're true to yourself and true to everybody, you have a shot. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I know what you mean, and we know what you mean, and it's fabulous. You're wonderful.
But thank
Thank you, Stevie. You're amazing. And
you. I'm so happy to be on your show again. God
I'm
bless you.
so happy you're here. Thank you, Stevie. You're fabulous in every way, and thrilled for you and all the great things, blessings coming your way, Stevie. And cheers to you and your continued success. And we're 100% behind you, Stevie.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. God bless you, AJ, for everybody.
Thank you so much. So bye for now.
Bye bye. You have a great day.